Hey team, April here. July 4th, meaning Independence Day here in the US. So I wanted to pose a question to each of you, and I hope that you'll take the time to answer it in our group chat. The question is simply this: what does freedom mean to you? And I suspect that answer is going to be a little bit different for everyone. Perspective is everything, right? So what does freedom mean to you? There's this great book that I teach out of called The Lessons in Truth by Emily Cady. And the title of the first chapter is Bondage or Liberty? Which? And she goes on to talk about the fact that it's all a state of consciousness. It's all about your mindset. And you have a choice in that. We can't always choose what's going on around us, what happens out in the world. We can't certainly change how other people behave. But the choice is always in our thoughts about it and how we react to it. It reminds me of this old folk tale called The Elephant Rope. And it's about the power of belief. Basically, it goes on to say that this little boy was going to the circus and he notices that the elephants are held in place by a tiny rope around just one of their legs. I thought, oh my goodness, there's no way. Certainly, these ginormous animals could just easily bust out of that rope. But when he sees one of the trainers there grooming the elephants, getting them ready, he asks the question, how in the world does that little rope hold those elephants in place? And she explains to him that when they're really little, when they're just babies, small enough for the rope to actually hold them in place, they tie that rope around one of their back legs. And as a result of that, they come to learn by testing when they're real little that that rope will hold them in place, never doubting that thought again. So as they grow bigger, when they're big enough to easily snap that rope with no effort, because they were taught and believed the thought that that rope would hold them in place, they never doubt it and never again try to get away from it. So I want to ask you to check in with your BS, your belief systems. Are there things that you may believe that aren't serving you, in fact, that aren't even true? Sometimes when we go through an experience, whether it's when we're little or something throughout our life, that teaches us to believe something that isn't even really true. Maybe it applies in that situation or to that person, but it doesn't apply to everything. But because of that experience, we never again question it. So where in you are you possibly being held captive by your mindset, by your beliefs, by your stories, by your belief systems? And it might be something like, maybe a way you were betrayed or hurt when you were younger. So you now believe you can't trust this type of person or this type of situation. Or maybe it's a belief system that someone should behave differently. We all have those. I mean, we don't even have to go beyond our family, right? We all have that one family member that just drives us nuts because they shouldn't be doing whatever it is, fill in the blank, right? And it gets under our skin. It causes us to react in a certain way. It makes us really unhappy. So just come up with one or two ideas, just one even to start. Where might you be held captive in your mind? An old story, an old unforgiveness, an old resentment, something that just frustrates you and keeps you in that space. Because that's exactly the opposite of freedom. You're holding yourself captive in your mindset, right? That person or that situation may not even be affected by you anymore, but it's still festering in you. So, with that, I'd like to introduce you to a fabulous author named Byron Katie. I know it's a little similar to the other name I gave you, but Byron Katie wrote several books, one of which is called Loving What Is. And she doesn't mean that you should love everything that is. I mean, there's some things in the world that we may not even like, much less love, right? But they are what they are. And she talks about our reaction to them. So the first step is whatever it is, whatever you notice in your belief system that still upsets you, angers you, saddens you, gets under your skin. Then write down and really take a moment to write down how you react, what stress shows up, what feelings show up, how you act out when you are thinking about whatever that was. So that person, that situation, how you think it should be different. And maybe it's something like, I know my boss hates me. Well, hopefully not here. I mean, I don't think, you know, Sienna or Maria or Amelia hate you, of course, but maybe you've had that thought in the past or that family member. But write down when you are thinking about that, when you are believing that thought, how do you react? Do you react stressed? Do you react defensive? Are you grumpy before that person even walks in that room or before you even walk into that situation? Do you feel it in your body? Do you feel the tension? Write down your thoughts about it, your thoughts, your reactions, and make it simple. This isn't a journaling exercise, just to capture it on paper. And then there's 4 questions she asked, and I'm going to give you the link to where you can find more information about this, including an actual free worksheet that you can work through this if ever you want. And I'm happy to do it with you if there is a certain situation you really want to work out. We can do it one-on-one. But basically, she asks you, first of all, is it true? Whatever the thought is it true that that person hates you or that person should be doing something different? Is it true? Is it true that you can't trust or whatever the thought is, right? And can you be absolutely certain that it's true, beyond a doubt? And then she has you turn it around. But basically, she says, who would you be without that thought? If you didn't think that that person hated you or that that person should be doing something different, if you just didn't believe that, if you didn't have that thought at all, how would you be different? How would your everyday be different? How would your stress level be different? So if maybe you're going into a situation and before you even get there, you're already upset about something because you've had this thought, I just know they're going to act this way. I just know whatever it is, right? And so already you have tension in your shoulders. You already get defensive. You already don't want to go. You're resenting even having to do it, whatever it is, right? Apply it to you. How would you be different if you didn't have that thought? Would you be more peaceful, more open minded? Byron Katie calls this process, and again, there's more to it, the work. She calls it the work, and there is a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet on her website that walks you through the full process in a much deeper way. And again, I'm happy to work through it if ever you'd like. But I'd like to propose to you that that is one key to freedom, to be free from our own limiting thoughts, from our own BS, the parts of our belief system that don't apply, that aren't even true, that don't serve us, right? And just consider how you would be different, happier, stress free if you didn't have some of these thoughts that you have been allowing to hold you in bondage for who knows how long. Some of our stories we carry with us for years and years. So there is a quote by Abraham Lincoln that says, we are about as happy as we make up our mind to be. And it really is a choice. Whatever we focus on is what we see around us. If we go out looking for what's wrong in the world, we will find it. If we go out looking for what is right in the world, we will find it. So today, I invite you to give yourself the gift of freedom. Free yourself from the thoughts just for a moment that stress you out. From the to-do list, from the stress list, because we have one of those too. And instead, focus for just a moment on the source that I consider the greatest freedom, which is gratitude. Just for a moment, think of the things that are going well, the things that bring you joy, the things you're grateful for, proud of, happy about. And just pause for a moment of gratitude and feel the difference that comes over you. The feeling of freedom, the feeling of peace. Because it all starts here and it's all up to you. So I hope you have a great day. And again, reach out. If you want to look up a little bit more about Byron Katie's The Work, you can go to thework.com. There are free workshops or free videos and free worksheets and other information you can find there to dive into this a little bit deeper. But I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.